Shalom, Aleichem, peace be upon you, and welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Shawn. Our website can be found at scriptureandprophecy.com. That's where you go to find the archives. That's where you go to support this mission of truth. This morning we are looking at this week's Torah Parsha, which happens to begin the book of Numbers. Let's look at the portion summary from torahportions.org. Here's what it says. The Hebrew name for the fourth book of the Torah, which is also the name of the first reading, is Bamidbar, which means in the wilderness. It comes from the first words of the first verse, which says, Then the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai. The English title of the book is Numbers, which is derived from the Greek Septuagint version of the Torah. The book of Numbers tells the story of Israel's trek through the wilderness on their way to the Promised Land, their failure at the edge of the land, and the subsequent 40 years of wandering. It concludes with the story of the second generation's triumph over the first Canaanite resistance. The book ends with the Israelites poised on the edge of Canaan, ready to take their inheritance. Woven in the midst of these narratives is a significant amount of legal material. The first reading from Bamidbar and the 34th reading from the Torah begins with a census of the tribes of Israel and the Levitical families just prior to the departure from Sinai. So that is the summary for this morning's reading, for the introduction of Bamidbar. Now, there's a lot of interesting things that take place within the book of Numbers, but there's also a lot of things that, like this very beginning Parsha, which is just this giant census taking. And so while there's some very exciting things we're going to be getting to as we get through this book, this first part, these first 4 chapters, is not overly exciting. So it's chapters 1 through chapter 4, verse 20, and it's all dealing with the census. Now, before we get started, because I think it's about our posture and our heart when we get into these things, let's consider, and I could be wrong about all of this, but I just want to give you something to think about as before we get started. And that is raising the question of why would God bother to command Moses to take a census anyway? Especially when God is typically opposed to taking a census. If you remember, King David was judged for doing such a thing. I was chewing on this yesterday, and here's the conclusion I've come to. God has a census taken of Israel, not because he doesn't know all the people, right? Like when he tells Moses to take this census, it's very personal. It's like you got to take a census of every person. And so the conclusion I've come to is this is a demonstration that God cares about each and every individual person who belongs to him. And this whole take a census, take the number of these peoples is symbolic of that attitude and posture that God has towards his own people. Can I read to you just 7 verses real quick from the book of Luke, and then we'll get started. Here's what Jesus says. If you go to Luke, first 7 verses. In the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode upon one another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, Beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatever you have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which you have spoken in the ear of the closest shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. And I say unto you, my friends, be ye not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more they can do. But I will forewarn you whom you shall fear. Fear him which after he hath killed hath power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? And not one of them is forgotten before God. But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore. Ye are of more value than many sparrows. Now, obviously, there's a lot being said here that we're not going to get into because we got a Torah portion to get through. I just wanted to set the stage that God cares so much. These sparrows, you just go look in your backyard. There's a billion of them flying around. They're innumerable. God has not forgotten about a single one of them. And Jesus is saying, you are way more valuable than they. So much so that God even knows the number of hairs upon your head. And so as we read this portion this morning, don't get lost in it's boring, we're counting the people. Understand that this is being done because of God's unthinkable love towards his own. Let's begin. Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, chapter 1. I'm going to read from the Hallelujah Scriptures. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tent of appointment on the 1st day of the 2nd month, in the 2nd year after they had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, saying, Take a census of all the congregation of the children of Yisrael, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the numbers of their names, every male, head by head, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army in Yisrael. Number them by their divisions, you and Aaron. Please note, just real quick, they're going to be numbered, and they're going to be added also to basically Israel's military. So every male 20 years and above, it says to go out for the army of Yisrael. And that fact is going to become important here in a minute as we get further along. So I just wanted to make note of it. Verse 4. And a man from every tribe should be with you, each one the head of his father's house. And these are the names of the men who stand with you. From Reuben, Elisur, son of Shedyair. From Shimeon, Shemuel, son of Surshadiah. From Yehuda, Nahashon, son of Aminadab. From Yesachar, Nathaniel, son of Suar. From Zebulun, Eliab, son of Helon. From the sons of Joseph, from Ephraim, Elishama, son of Aminahud. From Manasseh, Gamliel, son of Pedadutsar. From Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gideoni. From Dan, Ahizar, son of Amishbadiah. From Asher, Pagiel, son of Ochran. From Gad, Elisasaph, son of Duiel. From Naphtali, Ahur, son of Inyan. These are the ones called from the congregation, leaders of their fathers' tribes, heads of thousands of Yisrael. And Moses and Aaron took these men, who were called by name, and they assembled all the congregation together on the 1st day of the 2nd month. And they declared their ancestry by clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and above, each one head by head. As Jehovah commanded Moshe, so he registered them in the wilderness of Sinai. And the children of Reuben, Yisrael's firstborn, their genealogies by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male head by head from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Reuben were 46,500. From the children of Shimon, their genealogies by their clans, by their fathers' houses, of those who are registered, according to the number of the names, every male head by head from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered at the tribe of Shimon were 59,300. From the children of Gad, their genealogies, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Gad were 45,650. From the children of Yehudah, their genealogies by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Yehudah were 74,600. From the children of Yiscar, their genealogies, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Yiscar were 54,400. From the children of Zebulun, their genealogies, by their clans, by their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Zebulun were 57,400. From the sons of Joseph, the children of Ephraim, their genealogies by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Ephraim were 40,500. From the children of Manasseh, their genealogies by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Manasseh were 32,200. From the tribe of Benjamin, their genealogies by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Benjamin were 35,400. From the children of Dan, their genealogies, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the numbers of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Dan, 62,700. From the children of Asher, their genealogies, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Asher were 41,500. From the children of Naphtali, their genealogies, by their clans, by their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered of the tribe of Naphtali were 53,400. These were those registered, whom Moshe and Aaron registered with the leaders of Yisrael, 12 men, each one for his father's house. And all those that were registered of the children of Yisrael by their father's house, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army in Yisrael. All those were registered were 603,550. But the Levites were not registered among them by their father's tribe, because Jehovah had spoken to Moshe, saying, "Only the tribe of Levi you do not register, nor you take a census of them among the children of Israel. Instead, appoint the Levites over the Mishkan of the witness, over its furnishings, and over all that belongs to it. They bear the Mishkan and all its furnishings, and they attend to it and camp around the Mishkan. And when the Mishkan is to go forward, the Levites take it down, and when the Mishkan is to be put up, the Levites put it up, and the stranger who comes near is put to death. And the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every one by his own camp, every one by his own banner, according to their divisions. But let the Levites camp around the Mishkan of the witness, so that there can be no wrath in the congregation of the children of Israel. And the Levites shall guard the duty of the Mishkan of the witness. And the children of Israel did according to all that Jehovah commanded Moshe, so they did. Okay, please note. So all the tribes are accounted for, and the census is taken, and they're all joined to Israel's army, right? Except for the tribe of Levi. The tribe of Levi is set apart, it's almost like a picture of how God sets apart the holy, right? Like you've got this holy people, the Levites, who are going to be in charge of the tabernacle, or the Mishkan. And they're going to be in charge of overseeing it, overseeing the utensils and everything to go in it. They're going to be in charge of taking it down and putting it back up when they move. Like, they're set apart, a holy people set apart. And I think that is also symbolic of what God would be doing with us right now. However, I do want to read a little bit of commentary from the Jewish perspective about this. And I'm going to read it out of the Jewish Chumash. Here's what the commentary says about this situation. It says, having proven their loyalty to God in the aftermath of the golden calf incident, which took place in Exodus chapter 32, the Levites are now elevated to the status of his own legion. In this passage, their new status was expressed in three ways. The Levites would be counted separately and differently from the rest of the population. They would be assigned to guard the tabernacle in its courtyard and as detailed in chapter 4, which we'll get to. They would dismantle and transport the tabernacle during the nation's travels, and the Levites' camp would surround the tabernacle with the rest of the nation around theirs. And then he quotes, "You shall not count, you shall not take census." The verse refers to two ways in which the Levites are distinct. They are not to be counted from the age of 20 and up, and their total will not be added to that of the rest of the nation. They were counted separately in difference to their higher status. Alternatively, God knew that all those included in the general census would die in the wilderness, but he wanted to exclude the Levites from this fate because of their loyalty and courage in the incident of the golden calf. The prophet Ezra suggests that they were excluded from the regular census because they were to serve the tabernacle and not in the army like the other tribes. So, I don't necessarily agree with the Jewish commentary. I more agree with the prophet Ezra, right? Who just makes the obvious connection, which is that rather than serving in the army, they were set apart to serve for the tabernacle. So there you have it. There's a little commentary to help you understand. All right, we still have chapters 2, 3, and 20 verses out of chapter 4, but they're not super long. So we should be able to power through this in about 15 minutes. So hang on and keep your hearts open and your minds open to receive God's word. Let's continue on, starting with chapter 2. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, the children of Israel are to camp each one by his own banner. Besides the sign of his father's house, let them camp around the tent of appointment at a distance. And on the east side, towards sunrise, those of the banner of the camp of Yehuda camp according to their divisions, and the leader of their children of Yehuda, Nahashon, son of Abinadab, and his army with their registered ones, 74,600. And those camping next to him is the tribe of Yishkar, and the leader of the children of Yishkar, Nathaniel, son of Suar, and his army with his registered ones, 54,400. Then the tribe of Zebulun, and the leader of the children of Zebulun, Eliab, son of Chalon, and his army with its registered ones, 57,400. All the registered ones of the camp of Yehuda, according to their divisions, 186,400. These depart first. On the south side of the banner of the camp of Reuben, according to the divisions, and the leader of the children of Reuben, Elitzur, son of Shedyair, and his army, with his registered ones, 46,500. And those who camp next to him, the tribe of Shimeon, and the leader of the children of Shimeon, Shulemiel, son of Surshadiah, and his army with their registered ones, 59,300. Then the tribe of Gad, and the leader of the children of Gad, Elisaph, son of Ruavael, and his army with their registered ones, 45,650. And the registered ones of the camp of Reuben, according to their divisions, 151,450. They are second to depart. And the tent of appointment, the camp of the Levites, shall move out in the middle of the camps. As they camp, so they move out, every one in his place by their banners. On the west side, the banner of the camp of Ephraim, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Ephraim, Elishama, son of Amminahud, and his army with their registered ones, 40,500. And next to him the tribe of Manasseh, and the leader of the children of Manasseh, Gamliel, son of Pedahuzur, and his army with their registered ones, 32,200. Then the tribe of Benjamin, and the leader of the children of Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gidoni, and his army with their registered ones, 35,400. And all the registered ones of the camp of Ephraim, according to their divisions, 108,100. And they are the third to depart. On the north side of the banner of the camp of Dan, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Dan, Chizr, son of Amishadiah, and his army with their registered ones, 62,700. And those who camp next to him, the tribe of Asher, the leader of the children of Asher, Pagiel, son of Ochran, and his army with their registered ones, 41,500. Then the tribe of Naphtali, and the leader of the children of Naphtali, Ahura, son of Enan, and his army with their registered ones, 53,400. And all the registered ones of the camp of Dan, 157,600. They depart last with their banners. These were registered of the children of Israel by their father's house, all who were registered according to their divisions of the camps, 603,550. But the Levites were not registered among the children of Israel, as Jehovah commanded Moshe. And the children of Israel did according to all that Jehovah commanded Moshe. So they camped by their banners, so they departed, each one by his clan, according to their father's house. And these are the generations of Aaron and Moshe, when Jehovah spoke with Moshe on Mount Sinai. And these are the names of the sons of Aaron: Nadab, the firstborn, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the anointed Kohanim, whom he ordained to act as Kohanim. Nadab and Abihu had died before Jehovah when they brought strange fire before Jehovah in the wilderness of Sinai. And they had no children, so Eleazar and Ithamar acted as Kohanim in the presence of Aaron by their father. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, Bring the tribe of Levi near, and put them before Aaron and the Kohen, and they shall serve him. And they shall guard the duty and the duty of all the congregation before the tent of appointment to do the service of the Mishkan. And they shall guard all the furnishings of the tent of appointment, and the duty of the children of Israel to do the service of the Mishkan. And you shall give the Levites to Aaron and his sons, and they shall be the given ones, given him from among the children of Israel. And appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall guard the Kanunah, and the stranger who comes near shall be put to death. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, Now look, I myself have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel, instead of every firstborn who opens the womb among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. Because all the firstborn are mine, On the day that I struck all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, I kadesh to myself all the firstborn of Yisrael, both man and beast. They are mine. I am Jehovah. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, Register the children of Levites by their fathers' houses and by their clans. Register every male from a month old and above. So Moshe registered them according to the word of Jehovah, as he had been commanded. So please note, they do end up getting registered, but they're not taken in the general census of the army of Israel. And in this instance, the ones that God has set apart for himself. And this lends to the idea that I put forth at the beginning of our study. That those who God has set apart for himself, he cares about every single one of them. They're not just registered the males, 20 and above. These are registered from a month old and above. And so the Levites, I believe, that's kind of like a foreshadow or a representation of God's holy people. Those who he set apart for himself. Let's read this again. So register the children of Levi by their fathers' houses, by their clans. Register every male from a month old and above. So Moshe registered them according to the word of Jehovah, as he had been commanded. And these were the sons of the Levites by their names, Gershon, and Kaheth, and Merari. And these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their clans, Libni, and Shimei. And the sons of Kahath by their clans, Amram, Yitshar, Hebron, and Uziel. The sons of Merari by their clans, Mahali, and Mushi. These were the clans of the Levites by their father's house. From Gershon came the clan of the Libanites and the clan of the Shimites. These are the clans of the Gershonites. The registered ones according to the number of all the males from a month old and above. Their registered ones were 7,500. Also, please note, look how much smaller the number is of the people that God has set apart for himself. So much smaller. That's significant. Only 7,500. The clans of Gershonites and the camps westward behind the Mishkan, and the leader of the fathers of the house of the Gershonites, Elisaph, the son of Lael. And the duty of the children of Gershon in the tent of appointment was the Mishkan, and the tent and its covering, and the coverings of the door of the tent of appointment, and the screens of the courtyard, and the coverings of the door of the courtyard which is around the Mishkan, and the altar and their cords according to all of its service. And from Kaheth came the clan of the Amorites, and the clan of the Yisharites, and the clans of the Hebronites, and the clan of the Uzielites. These were the clans of the Kahethites. In number, all the males from a month old and above were 8,600, guarding the duty of the Kodesh place. So again, another small number in comparison to what we were reading earlier. The clans of the children of Kahath were the camp on the south side of the Mishkan, and the leader of their father's house, and the clans of the Kehethites, and the Isfan, and the Itzshaphan, son of Ustiel. And their duty was the ark, and the table, and the lampstand, and the altars, and the utensils in the Kodesh place used for the service, and the covering and all of its service. And Eleazar, son of Aaron the Kohen, was to be chief over the leaders of the Levites, with oversight of those who guard the duty of the Kodesh place. And from Merari came the clan of the Mahalites, and the clan of the Mushites. These were the clans of Merari. And the number of the registered ones, all the males from a month old and above, were 6,200. And the leaders of the father's house of the clans of Merari was Surael, son of Abihail. These were the camp on the north side of the Mishkan. And the appointed duty of the children of Merari was the boards of the Mishkan and its bars, and the columns and the sockets and utensils and all of its service. And the columns of the courtyard all around, with their sockets and their pegs and their cords. And those who were to camp before the Mishkan on the east, before the tent of appointment, were Moshe and Aaron, his sons, guarding the duty of the Mikdash, and the duty of the children of Israel. But the stranger who came near was to be put to death. All the registered ones of the Levites, whom Moshe and Aaron registered at the command of Jehovah, by their clans, all the males from a month old and above were 22,000. And Jehovah said to Moshe, Register the firstborn males of the children of Israel from a month old and above, and take the number of their names. And you shall take the Levites for me. I am Jehovah. Instead of all the firstborn from among the children of Israel and the livestock of the Levites, instead of all the firstborn among the livestock of the children of Israel. Moshe registered all the firstborn among the children of Israel as Jehovah had commanded him, and all the firstborn males by the number of names from a month old above. Their registered ones were 22,273. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, Take the Levites instead of the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the livestock of the Levites instead of their livestock, and the Levites shall be mine. I am Jehovah. And for a ransom of the 273 of the firstborn of the children of Israel, who were more than the number of Levites, you shall take 5 shekels for each one, head by head. Take it by the shekel of the Kodesh place, the shekel of 20 gerahs. And you shall give the silver, the ransom of those who are in excess among them, to Aaron and to his sons. And Moshe took the ransom silver from those who were over and above, who were ransomed by the Levites. From the firstborn of the children of Israel took the silver, 1,365 pieces, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. And Moshe gave the ransom silver to Aaron and to his sons, according to the word of Jehovah, as Jehovah had commanded Moshe. Chapter 4, 20 more verses and then we'll be finished. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, Take a census of the son of Kehath from among the children of Levi by their clans, by their father's house, from 30 years old and above, and even to 50 years old, and all who enter the service to do the work of the tent of appointment. This is the service of the sons of Kehath in the tent of the appointment, the most Kodesh matters. At the breaking of the camp, Aaron and his son shall come, and they shall take down the covering veil, and cover the ark of the witness with it, and shall put on the coverings of fine leather, and spread over all the blue wrapper, and shall insert its poles. And on the table of the showbread they shall spread a blue wrapper, and shall put it on the dishes, and the ladles, and the bowls, and the jars for pouring, and the showbread on it. They shall spread over them a scarlet wrapper, and cover the same with a covering of fine leather, and shall insert the poles. And it shall take a blue wrapper, and cover the lampstand of the light, with its lamps, and its snuffers, and its trays, and all the oil vessels by which they service it. And they shall put with all the utensils in a covering of fine leather, and put it on a bar. And over the golden altar they shall spread a blue wrapper, and cover it with the covering of fine leather, and shall insert its poles, and shall take the utensils of the service, which is of the Kodesh place, and shall put it on the blue wrapper. Cover them with the covering of fine leather, and put them on a bar, and shall remove the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple wrapper over it, and shall put it on it all of its utensils by which they serve there, the fire holders, the forks, the shovels, the basins, and all the utensils of the altar, and shall spread on it a covering of fine leather, and insert its poles. And when Aaron and his sons were finished covering the Kodesh objects and all the furnishings of the Kodesh place at the breaking of the camp, then the sons of Kehath shall come and lift them. But let them not touch that which is Kodesh, lest they die. These are the burdens of the sons of Kehath in the tent of appointment. And the oversight of Eleazar, son of Aaron, the Kohen, is the oil for the light, and the sweet incense, and the daily grain offering, and the anointing offering, and the oversight, and all the Mishkan, and all that's in it, with the Kodesh place and its furnishings. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, Do not cut off the tribe from the clans of the Kehathites, from among the Levites, but do this to them, that they shall live and not die when they approach the most Kodesh objects. Aaron and his sons shall go in and appoint each of them to his service and his burden. They are not, however, to go in to watch while the Kodesh objects are being covered, lest they die. That, my friends, is this week's Torah portion. I pray that you've been blessed and strengthened in the powerful name of Jesus, in the powerful name of Yeshua. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for your prayers, and thank you to all of you who support this mission of truth and make this possible every week. Peace and grace be with all of you, and until next time, God bless.